Some people don't raise their voice when they hate you. They don't argue. They don't attack. They smile while secretly hoping you fail. The most dangerous hatred is not loud. It's quiet, calculated, invisible. And Maya Angelou understood this better than most people ever will, because the truth is, when someone truly dislikes you, their behavior changes in ways that most people completely ignore. Not because the signs are hidden, but because we desperately want to believe the people around us are genuine. But hatred leaves fingerprints in the way they respond to your success, in the silence after your pain, in the subtle disrespect disguised as jokes, concern, or honesty. Some people clap for you in public and resent you in private. Some stand beside you only to study your weaknesses. And the saddest part, the people who hate you the most are often the ones pretending to care the deepest. Maya Angelou once warned that human behavior never lies for long. Words can deceive, smiles can perform, but patterns always reveal the truth. In this video, we'll uncover the psychological signs that expose hidden resentment, signals that reveal when someone doesn't just dislike you, but secretly cannot stand your existence. And the final sign is the one most people realize far too late. The strange thing about hatred is this: it rarely appears when you are failing. Most people will tolerate your pain. They can handle your struggles, your confusion, even your broken moments. But the second your life begins to rise, the second you become confident, respected, or emotionally strong, something inside certain people starts to darken. And that darkness reveals itself in one quiet behavior. They celebrate your failures more than your victories. Pay attention to the people who become unusually energized when something goes wrong in your life. Watch how quickly they respond to your pain, yet disappear when you succeed. When you fail, they suddenly become available, comforting, deeply interested. But when you win, their energy changes, their smile tightens, their silence grows louder than words, because envy feeds on comparison. Some people secretly need you to stay beneath them so they can feel secure about themselves. Your growth becomes a reminder of everything they avoided becoming. And instead of transforming their own lives, they quietly wait for yours to collapse. Maya Angelou understood that human emotions leak through reactions. A person can fake support with words, but they cannot fully hide emotional satisfaction when you stumble. That is why some people gossip most after your mistakes, why they replay your failures with unusual excitement, why they suddenly act concerned when your life becomes difficult, not because they care, but because your pain gives them relief. And the frightening part is this: many of these people are standing close enough to hear your dreams before they fall apart. The most frightening people are not the ones who openly attack you. At least honesty gives you a chance to defend yourself. No, the dangerous ones are those who smile while quietly resenting your existence. Fake kindness is one of the oldest disguises hatred has ever worn. Some people will compliment you just enough to stay close to you. They will speak softly, laugh with you, support you in public. Yet behind that performance lives a hidden bitterness they never want you to notice. And the reason is psychological. When someone secretly hates you, they often fear exposure more than guilt. Because once their true feelings are revealed, they lose access to your trust, your energy, your vulnerability. So instead of showing hatred directly, they hide it inside politeness. But human behavior always leaks. Watch the people who give compliments that somehow feel heavy. Watch the ones who smile at your success but immediately change the subject. Watch how certain people become subtly cold the moment attention shifts toward you. Their kindness begins to feel rehearsed, almost strategic. Maya Angelou believed that people reveal themselves through consistency, not performance. Anyone can act loving for a moment. Anyone can pretend to support you when others are watching. But real intentions eventually escape through tone, timing, and energy. And sometimes the clearest sign is this: you leave conversations with them feeling emotionally drained without understanding why. Because fake kindness forces you to lower your guard around someone who quietly wants your spirit weakened. And the terrifying part is that many people never realize they were emotionally surrounded by hidden resentment until the mask finally slips during their worst moment. Some people don't ask about your weaknesses because they care about you. They ask because they are collecting ammunition. That is the terrifying truth most people realize too late. When a person secretly hates you, they become deeply interested in your insecurities, your fears, your emotional wounds. Not openly, not aggressively, but quietly, patiently, like someone studying the cracks in a wall, waiting to see where pressure will break it apart. And the dangerous part is that it often feels like concern. They ask innocent questions. They listen carefully when you speak about your struggles. They remember details about your pain with unusual precision. At first, it feels comforting. You think you are finally being understood. But Maya Angelou warned that not everyone who listens to you is connected to you. Some people listen because information gives them power. Watch how certain people subtly bring up your insecurities during moments of tension. Watch how your private fears somehow become public conversations. Watch how they become strangely calm whenever you doubt yourself. Because hidden hatred rarely attacks randomly, it attacks strategically. Psychologically, people who resent you often search for emotional leverage. They want to know what weakens your confidence, what triggers your fear, what makes you emotionally unstable. Not because they want to heal you, but because your vulnerability makes them feel stronger. And the most chilling part, sometimes the people studying your weaknesses are the same people encouraging you to open up the most, which means the moment you finally feel emotionally safe around someone may be the exact moment they begin learning how to destroy you quietly from the inside. Envy does not always sound like hatred. Sometimes it sounds like advice. Be careful. Don't dream too big. You've changed. Simple words, quiet words. But beneath them often lives something far darker than concern. Because when someone secretly hates you, your success becomes painful for them to watch. Every achievement you reach forces them to confront the life they avoided building for themselves. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your confidence exposes their insecurity. Your growth becomes evidence that transformation is possible. And some people would rather resent your progress than face their own reflection. That is why envy changes behavior in subtle ways first. Notice how certain people become uncomfortable when others praise you. Watch how they interrupt your wins with sarcasm, silence, or strange criticism. Pay attention to the people who supported you when you were struggling, but became distant once you started evolving. Maya Angelou understood that jealousy is rarely loud in the beginning. It moves quietly through energy, tone, and reaction. A person who secretly resents you may still stand beside you physically while emotionally hoping you fail. And the most dangerous part is this: envious people often memorize your old version because your growth threatens their identity. They want you to stay insecure, confused, small, because the moment you rise beyond the role they assigned to you, they lose the emotional power they once had over you. So instead of celebrating your transformation, they begin resisting it. Not openly, not immediately, but slowly enough that you question yourself before you question them. And sometimes the greatest warning sign is not what they say when you fail. It's the silence that appears when you finally start becoming powerful. The people most capable of destroying you are rarely the ones standing against you. They are the ones standing beside you, pretending to believe in you. That is the deception Maya Angelou warned people about, because some enemies do not attack your life directly. They study it first. They blend into your circle. They earn your trust slowly, carefully, until you no longer feel the need to protect yourself around them. And that is when the real damage begins. A fake supporter will clap for you publicly while privately competing with you emotionally. They will encourage your dreams with their words, but resent them silently in their heart. And over time, that hidden resentment leaks into subtle behaviors most people overlook. They discourage you at critical moments. They plant doubt in your mind disguised as realism. They disappear when you truly need support. And strangely, they often return the moment your life starts falling apart because your struggle makes them comfortable again. Psychologically, some people attach themselves to you not because they love your success, but because they need access to your energy, your confidence, your ideas. They enjoy standing near your light while secretly hoping it burns out before it shines too brightly. And the frightening part is this, fake supporters are often incredibly patient. They can pretend for years. They can smile through your victories. They can memorize exactly how to sound loyal. But hidden hatred always reveals itself eventually, usually during moments when your life demands genuine support instead of performance. That is when masks become heavy. That is when excuses appear, distance grows, energy changes, and suddenly you realize the person cheering the loudest for your dreams was secretly waiting for proof that you would never reach them. Disrespect never begins with cruelty. It begins with permission, a small joke at your expense, a dismissive tone, a subtle interruption when you speak, tiny moments, easy to ignore. But Maya Angelou understood something most people refuse to accept. When someone secretly hates you, they rarely reveal it all at once. They test how much disrespect you will tolerate before they expose their true feelings completely, because hatred often enters quietly. At first, they disguise it as humor. I was just joking. Then it becomes criticism disguised as honesty. Then slowly, your feelings stop mattering to them at all. And the terrifying part is that this transformation happens gradually enough that many people begin doubting themselves instead of questioning the behavior. Psychologically, hidden resentment creates a need for emotional dominance. A person who secretly dislikes you often tries to reduce your confidence in subtle ways so they can feel more powerful around you. That is why they interrupt you more in groups, why they minimize your achievements, why they speak to you with less patience than they show others. Disrespect is rarely accidental when it becomes repetitive. Human behavior always follows emotion, and when someone carries deep resentment towards you, eventually their frustration leaks into their tone, their reactions, their body language, especially when they believe you will continue accepting it. But Maya Angelou believed self-respect changes everything, because the moment you stop tolerating subtle disrespect, people are forced to reveal who they truly are. Some will correct themselves. Others will become angry that they no longer have access to your silence. And that reaction alone exposes a truth many people spend years avoiding. Some individuals never loved your presence. They only loved your willingness to endure their disrespect without resistance. No emotion stays hidden forever, not love, not jealousy, and certainly not hatred. People can control words for a while. They can rehearse kindness. They can force smiles and perform loyalty, but human behavior always tells the truth eventually. That was one of Maya Angelou's deepest observations about people. Patterns never lie. A person who secretly hates you may hide it for months, sometimes years. But over time, the mask begins to crack in moments they cannot emotionally control. A reaction that feels too sharp, a silence that feels too cold, an expression that disappears too quickly after your success. Because real emotions leak under pressure. Psychologically, pretending requires energy. Constantly hiding resentment becomes exhausting, especially when the person they envy continues growing, healing, or succeeding. Eventually, the inner conflict becomes too heavy to contain, and that is when behavior begins exposing what words tried to conceal. You start noticing contradictions. They say they support you, but never show up when it matters. They speak kindly, yet leave you feeling emotionally unsettled. They claim loyalty, but secretly compete with your happiness. And the terrifying part is this, like most people ignore the signs because they are emotionally attached to the image they created of that person. They trust history more than behavior. They trust memories more than patterns. But Maya Angelou believed one powerful truth. When people repeatedly show you who they are, disbelief becomes self-destruction, because hidden hatred does not stay hidden forever. Sooner or later, life creates a moment where the performance collapses completely. And when that moment finally comes, many people realize the enemy was never outside their circle. It was sitting beside them the entire time, waiting patiently for the mask to become unnecessary. The hardest truth Maya Angelou tried to teach was this: not everyone clapping for you wants to see you win. Some people love your kindness but resent your strength. Some enjoy your presence only when you are broken, uncertain, or small. And the moment you begin healing, growing, evolving, their energy changes in ways words cannot fully hide. Because hatred rarely announces itself honestly. It hides behind smiles, behind jokes, behind fake concern, behind support that disappears the moment your life begins to rise. But this video was never meant to make you paranoid. It was meant to make you aware. Aware that human behavior always reveals hidden emotion. Aware that peace sometimes requires distance. And aware that protecting your energy is not cruelty, it is survival. Maya Angelou understood something powerful about life. When people repeatedly show you envy, disrespect, hidden resentment, or emotional manipulation, believing their mask instead of their behavior becomes a dangerous form of self-betrayal. And maybe that is why some of the most painful heartbreaks do not come from enemies. They come from finally realizing who was pretending not to be one. So after this video ends, ask yourself one uncomfortable question. Who around you becomes uncomfortable when you become stronger? Because the answer to that question may quietly explain everything you have been feeling all along.